There's lots of excitement about AI agents, but here's the truth. Building one is hard. Coordinating many? That's where most teams hit the wall. I'm Matt, and I lead teams who deliver AI agents into real enterprise systems, where uptime matters, governance can't be an afterthought, and agents need to play by the rules. Today we're talking about what happens when one agent isn't enough, because whilst building a single agent is hard, coordinating many of them across systems, teams and tools, well, that's orchestration, and it's one of the hardest things to get right. In this episode, I'll show you what's working, where it's breaking, and how new patterns like Model Context Protocol and Judge Agents are helping production teams stay in control. So let's get into 7 key lessons learned through production deployment. Lesson 1. Why orchestration matters. Real business problems aren't solved by one agent or one tool. At scale, orchestration is essential. You need a coordinated network of specialized agents, a mixture of skills or experts. One agent may be great at handling emails, another might specialize in ERP updates, a third might handle compliance checks. Just like in human teams, specialists need to collaborate. And here's where clear delineation helps, not just for logic, but for governance. When each agent has a well-defined role, it's easier to control data access. For example, finance agents don't usually need marketing data. It's also simpler to apply least privilege access policies. And finally, you can assign specialist subject matter experts to own or audit specific agent roles. This modularity makes maintenance easier too. Update the logic for one agent, like pricing, without touching the rest. Different agents can also be configured with distinct behaviours and response styles. For instance, a marketing agent may adopt an empathetic conversational tone when crafting outreach messages, whereas a financial approval agent operates with strict validation checks and minimal discretion to ensure compliance and accuracy. So delineation isn't just tidy architecture, it's a governance enabler. Lesson 2. What breaks without it? So what happens when this isn't defined? A great example I heard about was when an agent designed for HR analytics was accidentally given access to payroll systems. It generated a report pulling in individual salary data, then emailed it to an entire cross-functional team. No malicious intent, just poor scoping. The agent had too broad a resource scope and wasn't fenced in by role or domain. That's how data leakage happens, and why role delineation matters, not just for function but for safety. It's also where access control models come into play. 2 you should really know about. RBAC, role-based access control. This is granted based on an agent's assigned role. Think customer service agent role can view orders but not payment details. And ABAC, attribute-based access control, granted based on multiple attributes like agent type, data classification, or time of day. For example, an agent might only view personal data during business hours and only if flagged as PII compliant. RBAC keeps things simple and auditable. ABAC allows for more flexibility and context awareness. In agent orchestration, RBAC is great for broad scoping, whereas ABAC gives you fine-grained dynamic control. Both matter, especially at scale. Take a sales follow-up workflow. One agent fetches the lead data, another drafts a personalized message, a third logs activity and updates the pipeline. But if they're not working in sync, emails go out twice, tasks get dropped, data gets corrupted. Orchestration is what turns independent agents into a coordinated system. Lesson 3. Models of orchestration. Orchestration is about decision logic, timing, and data flow. Orchestration generally follows 3 models. First up, the conductor model. One master agent coordinates the flow. This is a centralized model. Then the peer model. Agents collaborate directly in a decentralized model. Finally, the pipeline model. Fixed sequences. These are essentially workflow-based. In production, hybrid is usually the way to go, with centralized control for governance and local autonomy for speed. Lesson 4. The operating contract. Now let's talk about how we give agents structure. Model Context Protocol, or MCP, is becoming the backbone for production-ready agents. MCP is like a firewall and a toolbox and an instruction manual all in one. It defines what agents can do, what they can see, and how they should behave. Here's a breakdown of the MCP pattern. First up, tools. These are model controlled and are functions the agent can invoke, like retrieve a document, send a message, update a record. It's action space control. Next, resources. These are application controlled and govern what the agent can access. For example, files, records, API responses. Just enough data, but not too much. And finally, prompts. These are user controlled and shape the agent's interaction style. like document Q&A, transcript summaries, and JSON formatting. Together, you get a clean, modular, auditable interface. Essential when you've got multiple agents working together. Here's a real-world example. A contact center AI agent has £10 discretionary budget to resolve and improve customer experiences. If a customer has a bad experience, the agent might send a voucher or upgrade within brand and budget limits. Each step is governed by MCP. Firstly, tools, a predefined send voucher function capped at £10 with auto-logging. Then resources, limited access to customer history and entitlements. And finally, prompts, empathetic tones shaped by brand-aligned templates. That's MCP in action, scoped, auditable, and effective. You might think of MCP like an API gateway meets policy engine meets prompt library. In this example, it lets you control access, standardize tone, and prevent prompt drift. But there's a trade-off. Compared to direct tool calling, too much routing through MCP can inflate token usage, increase latency, and add cost. So design it smart and use it where governance is needed. However, streamline use for high-volume, low-risk actions. Hybrid approaches combining MCP with structured and direct paths are what we're seeing in mature implementations. Lesson 5, from teamwork to supervision. Once MCP is in place, something great happens. Agents can talk to each other. Agent-to-agent communication, or A to A as it's often called, works on the basis that there is no need to always return to a central orchestrator. Agents can delegate tasks, validate results, hand off context. They behave like teams, not bots. That's huge for scale, but also risky. What if they disagree or create a loop? That's where the next piece comes in. Lesson 6, the judge agent. The judge agent is your system's arbitrator. Its role is to review outputs, compare decisions, score confidence, and escalate when needed. For example, one agent says issue refund, another says flag for fraud. The judge agent weighs up both and makes the call. It brings consistency, quality assurance, and you can codify its reasoning with policies or rubrics, even chain of thought scoring. Think of it as your QA layer for the agent mesh. And honestly, it's essential for production. Lesson 7, principles for safe orchestration. Here's what I've seen in the wild. Duplicate emails, deadlocks, ticket loops, overloaded APIs, lost context, to name a few. Not because agents were dumb, but because they weren't aligned. No orchestration means no trust. No trust means no production deployment. If you're using LangGraph, AutoGen, or building your own controller, here are the principles I would recommend. Have clear ownership. Each agent has a defined role. Use shared memory. Agents operate on a shared context. Ensure explicit handoffs, no guesswork. Build in fallback logic. Always have a plan B. Use a judge agent to flag risk and resolve conflict. And adopt MCP Foundation where useful. Tools, resources, prompts clearly defined. That's how you scale from demo to deployment. This isn't just engineering, it's business. Orchestration is how smart ideas deliver enterprise business value. MCP gives you the foundation, agent-to-agent enables teamwork, and judge agents enforce control. And orchestration? Well, that pulls it all together. That's your operating system for next-gen business processes. That's it for this episode. If you're building agent teams, not just bots, orchestration is your bridge to precision. Next time, we're tackling autonomy. How far should agents go on their own? When should they ask for help? And when should they decide what to do? Until then, keep your agents in sync. And if one goes rogue, blame the orchestrator.